This is a regular meeting of the Board of Ethics at 3:03 p.m. on July 20th, 2011. Roll call.
Ms. Flannery?
Here.
Dr. Kelly?
Here.
Mr. Silver?
Here.
Ms. Phillips?
Here.
And Ms. Ennis is here. Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you. I would entertain a motion to amend the agenda to add under new business the consideration of the request for advisory opinion that we just received from Dale Miller.
Because this is hot off the press, we don't have a number for this one. It's not a big deal.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't sure.
New business.
So move.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We'll add it as item number C under new business. Request for advisory opinion.
It'll be, I'm sorry, I don't have the advisory opinion. We'll number it.
It has marked waived confidentiality on
Right.
it, so we could mark it as Dale Miller request. Okay. We first have the minutes from our May 27th meeting for review. These minutes were tabled during the last meeting because
We didn't have a quorum.
we didn't have a quorum, or enough people who were present at the May 27th meeting here to vote on these. So, do I have a motion on the May 27th meeting minutes?
I move for adoption of the, adoption for the record for the May 27th minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have the June 15 meeting minutes.
I move for the adoption of the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, persons to be heard, we have Eileen Scooter here, Benson. Over here. Hi, can you come up to the table? Do you have anyone else here that you'd like to chat?
Principal, Audrey Chapman.
Hi, I'm Audrey Chapman.
Audrey Chapman, okay. So we asked you here, based on your gift disclosure that you made on January 24th, 2011. And we wanted to follow up on this with you to find out what the purpose of the gift was and what it was used for and sort of generally how it came to be given to you. Yes, so
Is from one of the parents in my classroom. Dan Pike is an Alaska Airlines pilot, and they were left with passes this year that they were not going to be able to use for their family, and he offered them to me.
okay.
They were coming up on an expiration date.
So they were given to you as a personal gift?
Yes.
And there were 2 passes?
Yes, because you need one pass for each direction of travel.
Oh, okay. And you use the passes for personal?
Personal, a weekend trip with my sisters to Phoenix.
And they were given to you in around Christmas time, or, I mean, around December?
Probably just before we broke in December.
Okay, so the student was in your class for the remainder of the year?
No, she's in my class now.
Okay. So was it a Christmas gift or
No, it was not.
was not? Okay. Did you solicit the gift? Did you request tickets from them? No. They were offered to you?
They were offered.
Okay. And you discussed it with your principal at the time that the gift was given, or
No,
no?
no, it was a gift to me.
Okay.
She, Ms. Flannery, if I may add just a little
Yeah.
bit of information here. Scoop did file this form as was requested, and this family is very gracious to our school. One night we had a movie night, and I was trying to run a movie through my computer, and the DVD player or multimedia projector that didn't work and broke down, and so they bought us a new DVD player. Their daughter's in choir. They didn't like our sound system, so through the PTA they helped fund a new sound system for the gym. I mean, they're just they're those kind of parents. You know, they volunteer in a number of hours at all kinds of school functions, run our school science fair. They're just those kind of people. Both Eames White.
Okay.
Very fortunate to be able to do that kind of stuff.
Okay. Well, the board is concerned with gifts that are over $50. We have now started sending out letters to all teachers who disclose gifts that are above the $50 mark. We're discouraging teachers to accept gifts that are in excess of $50. And where a gift has a value of this amount, we are going to have teachers come in to discuss them with us and to talk about the circumstances under which the gift was given. So,
Ms. Flannery, if
Yes.
I could also add, the district is not discouraging. The word discourage
Yeah.
is questionable right now. We are bound to disclose.
right,
Which I did, true.
right.
I followed all the protocol I was expected to.
Well, the code also
No.
requires you not to receive gifts in a way that a reasonable person.
That's not explicit. I've read the code, and it doesn't seem that it says that.
Well, that's precisely what it says, yes. You're not to receive gifts, the timing and the nature of which could lead a person to reasonably infer that your impartiality has been impaired. So that is another part of the code that you're required. So yeah, you're supposed to disclose, but you're also not to receive gifts that can lead a person to question your impartiality. And that's one of the things that that we're worried about. Yeah, so ASD is not necessarily taking the lead on this, but this board is now discouraging people from receiving these kinds of gifts. This is a very large gift, right? This is a $1,000 gift that you've
Yes,
received.
my jaw dropped to the floor. I've never in my life.
So did
received
ours,
such a
right?
gift.
I mean, and this is, and you're absolutely right.
As a
In
single
some sense-
mother for 20 years, I gotta tell you, it's the nicest thing anyone's ever done.
Yeah, absolutely, right? I mean, it's great to receive
And to
gifts like that.
tell someone no thank you is quite awkward.
Well, and it's, to some degree, it's almost, the school district will let the parents know that they're putting the teachers in a very awkward position by offering gifts of such a value. We've had jewelry, coach purses, travel, this is, a travel voucher, other travel gift, and it's, especially at the timing that was given right before report card time, in the middle of the year. If it was done at the end of the year, slightly different. And that's one of the reasons that because if I have a load of kids in this, a lot of kids in the school district, but I'm not able to afford to give similar gifts, it makes it very difficult to compete with parents who can.
And I totally understand your position, and I totally understand what you're
Right.
saying.
I
Mostly
appreciate
we
that it
get
puts you in the
cups
middle.
of candy.
Yeah, I appreciate that it puts you in the middle, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah, mostly it is coffee cups that end up in the teacher's lounge.
Yes, we
That
understand.
everybody uses. So we as a district need to make this clear to teachers and to parents, and that's clearly our responsibility. that we're not doing a good enough job letting people know. It's very awkward. We've even talked about this as principals. You know, what do you say? I mean, what do you say? How do you present that to parents? And these parents in particular are clearly, they're just really good people who really care about their child's school. And I don't mean that in a sense that they're buying things. This little girl, I mean, they have one child, they're older parents. These were coupons that were gonna expire. He's a pilot, you know. So I'm sure that they had no idea that what they were doing was gonna cause any, I mean, they'd be mortified right now if they knew that this was being questioned at all. So we clearly, as a district, need to do a better job of letting our parents and our staff know, you know, and about.
Well, that's, I mean, as you know, right, we asked the school board last year to take the lead on this, and they refused to do so. And unfortunately, what it's done is it has put teachers in a horrible position where we're getting these disclosures now that, to be honest, in the minds of this board, some of these gifts are beyond the pale. Some of these gifts are, in our mind, in violation of the code. But the school board has not given hard and fast guidelines for teachers to follow. And as a result, teachers are placed in this horrible position of how do you say no when you don't necessarily have a specific, this is a dollar amount that I'm not allowed to receive beyond. Right? And so that's why the letter that we're sending out is relatively soft in the sense that we're just saying,
So who are you
this gift,
sending the letter to?
we're sending the letter to teachers who are accepting gifts above the $50 limit on a case-by-case basis. Again, in some cases, a gift that's just above $50 it's received in the summer after grades have been submitted. But a large gift in the middle of the school year when you have a student in that class. I know in the context teachers are receiving gifts and parents are involved. In some cases there's cultural issues that parents feel that this is an important way in which they show expressions of gratitude. People outside the situation, like this board, right, some of these disclosures are jaw-dropping,
Yeah.
right? And some of them raise real serious, as Mr. Silver was pointing out, it's a question of, wow, how can other parents compete? And many other parents can't compete.
Well, and if you knew this family, they donate more time than they do material goods to our
That's right,
school.
and gifts
so-
to the school, gifts for a whole class, gift for the institution are perfectly fine, right? It's this problem where you create the appearance of a conflict. I know that, that we don't have a bribe here, right? But the appearance, and this is what the code is also addressing, is the appearance of a conflict of interest, the appearance that you're receiving a large gift from a parent whose student is in your class, who then you need to turn around, the teacher needs to turn around and be handing out and assigning grades to. Again, take aside for a second all the studies that show the unconscious effect that gift giving has when it comes to those kind of evaluations. Even set that aside, it's still the case that the appearance is one that it doesn't quite pass the sniff test, right? The appearance to people outside the situation looks like some sort of impropriety is taking place. And that's what we're trying to avoid. I mean, we all know, right, from the state legislative problems, right, that there's that fine gray line between I'm receiving gifts and it's not challenging my impartiality to now I'm getting wads of cash from VICA, right? Want to try to avoid even the appearances of these. And without doubt, this is something that's relatively new that this board is now trying to get the word out. And so the idea is that this is not supposed to be a kind of like a star chamber where you're punished, but the idea is to start getting the word out and in some cases bring teachers in to talk through what's happening. And I'm glad you came in too, so we can talk about what's going on at this, in terms of other teachers in your school and just a kind of I mean, I have to admit, with the number of if this were just a couple things that we got a year, but it's almost every meeting we have at least a couple disclosures that some just raise eyebrows and some are jaw-dropping. Right? So there is something of a culture now, it seems to me, where parents are giving very large gifts in some cases to teachers. And we're trying, and in some cases, it's in this board's mind, it's in violation of the code. And we're trying to get the word out. And that's why we use the word discourage. And we're trying to get the word out to discourage people so we can avoid these kinds of situations.
We need to do a better job as a district. And we do our ethics training every fall. We'll do it again this year. The teachers get this form in their packet that I give to them. They get the district's ethics code, which has the city code in there, but it doesn't say.
It's not strongly
It
worded.
is not said
It's
you
not
should
strongly
not
worded, in
receive
my
gifts, so
opinion.
that's our responsibility as a district. And my teachers have sent several of these forms, and, I mean, that's something that I've asked for them to abide by.
I filled out more than one this year.
Right.
And your school does, but only about 10% of the schools do, unfortunately.
Well, so.
And not that you didn't have to be penalized because
Right.
your school does, but I'm just saying,
Right. So
that's
we
the
need
school,
to-
that's a district issue.
It is, it very, and I'll talk with HR after this meeting.
And a couple of things we could provide you, we can share with you our form letter that we are sending out to teachers. We could also, we were trying to draft a couple paragraphs that maybe could go in school newsletters to parents, describing the situation to the parents so the parents understand, and thinking that maybe that could go in at the, the first newsletter of the year, and maybe the newsletter, around Thanksgiving time to remind parents when they're thinking about gifts, and toward the end of the year when they're doing end of the year gifts, again remind parents that this is the situation being faced, that that the Board of Ethics is looking at the gifts that are received that are over $50, and that you could be putting a teacher in an awkward position by being overly generous.
That would be just
Mhm.
great, because
Yeah.
if it came from the city and it came from the municipality, because we do have statements of disclosure that we put in about lots of things, about anti-discrimination, that we're required to
Right.
put in our newsletters a couple of times a year. And so if you would provide something like that to the district, that we all put in our newsletters, I mean, that covers us, because quite frankly, it's very awkward. And I've tried to pin something and ended up throwing it out because I just didn't know how to say it correctly. So I think that's a great idea.
I will say that when we see it from the PTA or a group of parents, then it goes right through. Because a group of parents have gotten together, not
Yeah, I see
one
what you're
child
saying.
is pointed out, but it's a group of parents for the children, from the children of this class, they're getting together to get a gift for the teacher.
That's, okay.
And so,
Makes
but,
sense.
and you see it all the time for the PTA has given stuff.
Mhm.
And generally for school supplies. In fact, my
Right.
sister used to teach in your school, and now teaches at Kincaid, and I know how much personal funds she has to put in
Right.
for it to be a teacher, and it's very difficult.
Who's your sister?
Christy Jeffries.
She was there a little bit before me. I taught there a long time ago.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Benson, for coming in with us.
That's it.
That's it.
Can I make one more statement before I forget? Even the manner in which Scooter was notified, you guys sent the letters to the district, and they were opened by the district, and then the district handed them to us, and we thought it was kind of interesting that somebody had opened a confidential letter, but
And then
that's
kept
the
it closed.
district stand on it too, so there's a,
Should the envelope be labeled as confidential on the outside?
I don't quite remember, it's been a while, but I remember we questioned
Because-
how we received
Because
it.
if it is, they should have opened it.
This is an arrangement we made with
It's
Eric.
stamped on
Eric
the
To
outside.
try to get a hold of you directly instead of
Oh,
having.
no,
I
So
know.
it
went to-
I
it went to
wanted-
Eric.
It went to
I
Eric.
wanted her personal address and HR wouldn't give it to
Well,
me.
And then on
I'm
the
not
inside
sure
is a
we
letter,
wanted to
a
do it,
handwritten
but
note with no
Eric
date
was the
or with no
least
signature on it.
arm in terms of getting
Right.
it to the teacher directly.
I got it after the meeting was supposed to even have occurred.
Right, and so
Very-
that's,
Okay, then we need to screw that.
there's a
back to the
disconnect.
teacher.
It's very
There
odd
is a
from the
disconnect
beginning.
between this board and the school district HR, for sure. Okay, I mean, not a disconnect, but
And I don't.
it was interesting.
Yeah, if you, I mean, you might mention that to Eric if you could, and then we could figure out what way do you want it to be done, because actually the board was trying to think of the most respectful way to get it to the teachers.
Yeah.
And apparently this didn't work.
Well, it's not that it didn't work,
May
it's
not.
just really awkward, you know, it was awkward, so, okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Coming in.
Fine.
Okay, special orders, there are none. Old business, notice of potential violation 2011-3. I have a motion to go into executive session to?
On the record?
On
On the record, please.
You're on the record.
Okay. Do I have a motion regarding notice of potential violation 2011-3?
Madam Chairwoman, I move that we find that no violation has taken place and that we draft a letter for the respondent accordingly.
So moved, or second, excuse me.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the letter will be circulated by July 27th to the board for review. Can you call Ms. Phillips back in, please?
Did we already let Mr. Constant go?
Yes.
Okay. Next on the agenda is Mr. Kelly's disclosure, which was tabled at the last meeting because we did not have enough board members for review.
Well, that hadn't spent enough time to cook yet.
Yeah, I had to look through and make sure that the new notice of potential violation wasn't against me. That's what I was expecting. Here's his disclosure.
Okay, do I have a motion on Mr. Kelly's disclosure?
I move we accept.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. Parent information paragraph, Flannery. So I have not done this yet.
Wow, after taking a pot shot at me. Wow.
She knew
that
that was
is
coming.
just. Wow. Here, let me.
I didn't even talk about.
I'm gonna get the wiki entry of hubris. Wow, that is. What was it she said, Keith? Oh, and I'm sure when you're in charge of the committee, everything will happen on time.
So
Lollygagging Dr. Kelly. And
this is the paragraph I mentioned when Aileen Scooter Benson was here on her gift disclosure, and I have to go through my emails in my Yahoo account in order to find the email I sent out to my child's classroom coordinator for the gift, because that was the email I was going to use to base it on, and I haven't done that. So.
we'll do it next time.
Do we have any further comments related to teacher gifts, parent information? and
I
such?
did, I mean, the only thing I felt that we might have just, the lady, the teacher left here kind of like, wow, that's it, nothing else. And I'm not admonishing anybody by any stretch of imagination, but as a suggestion that maybe, if we have to do this, get that, I'm sure we'll have other teachers in here now, the word will get out pretty fast. That maybe there's a way we can, use it for more of an education for them. Well, I'm not trying to,
I thought it was good education. I thought Mr. Kelly went in pretty well into why it is we're looking at this.
And someone sitting next to her, she was
Although-
very distraught.
she was.
Not
I mean,
just
that's-
that,
and that-
Terry,
and I'm only
she
seeing
was
that,
very
yeah.
upset with the whole thing.
So I'm not criticizing. It's just that I saw, they don't know, I guess, what the ramifications are. And then it was like, all of a sudden it was just over. Okay, that's it.
Well, but that principal is now going to go back to that administration, and
Yeah, and that's.
you've accomplished your goal, you've made the impact.
Hopefully, yeah, the
Oh, I
wheels will
think so.
start turning.
Yeah.
And I agree kind of with you, Kate. I mean, I think just the final note, even just saying, it's not a matter that we agree with the teachers. They're in a very tough position. We just need them to realize that the perception is what
And
we're.
that was
I think-
disclosed. Both
Yeah,
of
I
us
think
said
you both said it, but I think even if that was
Well,
just the last
maybe we
thing.
should have made clear to her that we have not found her in violation because no violation has been filed on her, right?
Yeah, nobody
Yeah.
has done none of us have stepped out, nobody else has done a request, for potential violation.
I was surprised. I'm with you, Keith. I mean, I was a little surprised that there was no mea culpa moment at all, right? There was no. I was waiting for at least an all shucks. I didn't quite think that through. You're right. Accepting $1,000 gift from a parent.
Well,
There
there was
none-
that-
it was
there was
all-
that on
and
her
it was real
part, too.
chippy at the end. I was like, well, I don't think that my letter got opened, and I didn't. It was. There really wasn't. I know what you're saying. It was educational in a kind of behavioralistic sense, but I didn't sense any internalization of, oh yeah, something. I can really see that this was questionable. Boy, maybe I
I
didn't
could see
act
what the
appropriate.
principal.
Yeah.
I saw it with the principal. Yeah,
But I
could see
couldn't
the
see her
principal.
face either, though. So.
But
No,
It was, I could see her face, and she was upset,
The principal or
the teacher.
The teacher.
well, she seemed sort of angry about the whole
that's what I thought. I
just
thought she was
very
angry, upset, and kind of angry, insulted, and upset,
Exactly.
and
It's
not
not like we
upset.
said
as
you
a-
gotta pay the money back. Or pay an equal amount to the PTA or something like that.
And I too was surprised with the, and that's it. The kind of.
Well, I
it was
don't know
weird,
if
it was-
we would, think if we have to deal with something like that in the future, if we kinda had you kinda have to
We
go
don't
as you're
have a
going.
process for it is the problem. I think, if it was,
Or maybe just even giving them a copy of the letter. Handing
maybe if they had the letter handy to go.
Yeah,
I-
just and
Yeah,
say,
that's true. Maybe give them a copy of
just
the
say,
letter.
just here's a copy of our form letter just to keep in mind.
I did find it kind of instructive, though. I mean, to me, it confirmed what I've been thinking about the culture in which this kind of gift giving and receiving, it just is not coming up on people's radar that it's inappropriate or it's problematic.
Well, just like the shutdown that Sheriff Flannery and I got from the school board on this issue. When we took it to them and they went, no big deal.
Yeah, I was trying to look for those provisions that, I'm blanking on her name, the assembly attorney.
Julia.
Tucker.
Julia Tucker pointed out our additional authorities that we could,
She did point some out in our training, and I'd be darned if I can find it in the afterwards. I should have just highlighted it right then and there. Because she pointed it out in the training here this last time. And do you recall what they were? It was somewhere towards the back.
yeah, I don't know.
No, I don't recall.
The remedies that
Oh,
were-
here it is. It's here. Okay, so it's 60, it's .060B, advice. The board shall perform the following duties to foster and support ethical conduct by employees, appointed members of municipal authority, and elected officials. So then under that, when an individual's actions governed by this chapter, consult with and advise the individual on matters involving ethical conduct. That's number 2. So B2 under 60B2.
But there was something specific to the school district that Julia pointed out to us.
Well, this is,
Because that's just for all municipal employees, including the school district. But-
yeah, but that was the provision we relied on in the letter, I think,
Mhm.
that we can give you advice and this is our advice.
And maybe that's how we end it, with somebody just
And
saying,
5 is advise.
That's right, and 5, yeah.
Advise an individual whose acts may be subject to the provisions of the notification of potential violation.
Did you look at,
Regarding compliance on matters within the board's jurisdiction.
Says, hey, he's got something here, recommend to the mayor, assembly, superintendent of schools, or school board take remedial action.
there's also, have you looked at I guess this is notice of violation, so, or corrective action, 1.15.100, sanctions, referrals, and corrective actions. The school board is number 4.
100?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sanctions, referrals, and corrective actions. And that's not part of the potential violations
Mhm.
section, so it looks to be a standalone section.
Which number 4?
4 is the school board act, but actually if you even start at A, it says we do employee discipline and restitution. And then 4 has to do with school board if they,
The scope includes
well, that's a
school board, I think.
No, it says the school, all employees of the Acre School District, it includes this scope. And then,
Too bad we didn't have that letter to give to her today, and I don't think she's actually gotten that letter. Oh, she's got, has she? Oh, yes, she has. She said she got the letter. Okay.
Oh, right, 'cause that
Well,
was the
no,
one
she
that
got a letter asking us to come.
Asking her to come here.
Uh-huh.
yeah,
And, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, but, you know, I mean, talking about how to end with if we have another school board person in, or school teacher in, even just saying, you know, our job is to, there is no ethics complaint, we're solely looking at this because of the perception, and our job is to advise, and
That's what
we,
we're doing.
and we'd advise that, our advice would be to keep perception in mind, or something to that effect, and
Right. Close it out.
and close it out that way. And here's a copy of the letter that we're handing out, so that you have what we look at as well.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, Barbara said she was gonna find a big municipal seal for us, and so work on that for me. I want the big-
she doesn't know you well enough to know you're joking.
I think she does.
All right, on to new business. Notice of potential violation 2011-4.
I'm afraid I'm no joke. I want the big seal. If we're gonna have people take oaths in Latin, then we need big seals to go with
Yeah,
it.
she bores and that.
Do I have a motion to go into executive session to discuss 2011-4?
Go ahead, Robin, you're,
Oh, yes. I wrote it down.
I move that we go into executive session to discuss 2011-4.
Do I have a second?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we are now going into executive session. Out of executive session. Your regular session.
Madam Chairwoman, I move that we continue or postpone our discussion of notice of potential violation 2011-4 to our August 17th meeting.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Given the time, do we,
Move to adjourn.
do we want to continue, move to continue these other items on our agenda for today?
Point of order, a move to adjourn is an immediate motion that cannot be discussed because
He's
it's voted
correct.
on immediately.
And if I second it, you have to take a vote.
They will just carry over. I can.
They'll carry over if
Yeah.
it's adjourned?
Yeah.
Besides, there's nothing significant here.
Do I have a second?
Second.
To adjourn.
All in favor? We are
Aye.
adjourned. Jeez.